Good morning. Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. Thank you for joining me today. As the reality of a second Trump administration takes hold, I know there is a lot of fear and anxiety, frustration and sadness, and I understand. Those feelings are natural and understandable. I'm here today to reassure you that in California, progress will prevail. No matter who is in the White House, no matter who controls Congress, in California, we will keep moving forward. In California, we will choose calm over chaos, fact over fiction, belonging over blame, unity over division, and us and we over I and me. It's why we're the fifth largest economy in the world, not in spite of our commitment to workers, consumers, and the environment, but because of it. Because we're the largest and most diverse state in the nation. Because we believe in the power of inclusivity. Because we believe in truth over lies, hope over hate, light over dark. Because we believe in looking forward. It's who we are in the Golden State. It's in our DNA. Nothing and no one can change that. As Attorney General, I will continue to use the full force of the law, the full authority of my office to address injustice. To stand up for all people, especially those who have been long overlooked and undervalued. To safeguard reproductive rights. To advocate for more housing, especially more affordable housing for lower and middle income families just trying to get by. I'll continue to take on greedy corporate giants and fight for more affordable gas and groceries and everything in between. I'll continue to defend our world-renowned natural resources and protect them for generations to come. Continue to fight for clean water to drink and clean air to breathe. Continue to crack down on illicit guns on our streets and get fentanyl out of our neighborhoods. Continue to fight for workers. I'll continue to protect, defend, and serve every single Californian, no matter your politics. I'm here to ensure every person, no matter how they look, how much money they make, where they're from, who they love, how they identify, or how they pray, can pursue their version of the California dream. A fair wage and good benefits. A safe and affordable place to live. Affordable and accessible health care. Good schools for our children. Safe neighborhoods to raise our families. That's my promise to you, no matter who is in the White House. We've been here before. We lived through Trump 1.0. We know what he's capable of. We know what plans he has in store. The silver lining is just that. We know. We know to take Trump at his word when he says he'll roll back environmental protections, go after our immigrant and LGBTQ plus communities, attack our civil rights, and restrict access to essential reproductive care. Which means we won't be flat-footed come January. You can be sure that as California Attorney General, if Trump attacks your rights, I'll be there. If Trump comes after your freedoms, I'll be there. If Trump jeopardizes your safety and your well-being, I'll be there. California DOJ did it before, and we will do it again. During the last Trump administration, California DOJ fought to stop illegal rollbacks and proposals that would have harmed the well-being, the health, the safety, and civil rights of our people and people across the country. That would have caused irrevocable damage to our environment. No matter who is in charge of the federal government, no matter what the incoming administration has in store, California will remain the steadfast beacon of hope and progress it has always been. A constant, unwavering, immovable force to be reckoned with. We'll continue to be a check on overreach and push back on abuse of power. Be the antidote to dangerous, extremist, hateful vitriol. Be the blueprint of progress for the nation to look to. Remember, in moments of chaos in DC, you can always look to California for calm resolve. California leaders across the state are ready to stand arm in arm. Governor Newsom and every single constitutional officer, Senator Padilla and Senator-elect Schiff, Democratic members of Congress, Pro Tem McGuire, Speaker Rivas, the California legislature, mayors, supervisors, city council members from San Francisco to San Diego are ready to fight for our California values, for our people, for our environment, for progress, for justice. And as necessary, we're ready to take on the challenges of a second Trump administration together. While a great deal of change is on the horizon, California's path to progress remains full steam ahead. It may not always be linear. Progress so rarely is. It zigs and it zags. It takes frustrating detours, inches forward and backward and then forward again. The detours and setbacks don't define our progress. Our commitment to forward momentum defines our progress, defines us. It's what we do next that will define us. If you're feeling despondent today, remember, you are not alone. In California, we're not looking back. We're not moving back. We are California. We'll meet any challenges head on and rise to the occasion. As is so often said, as California goes, so goes the nation. In the days and months and years to come, all eyes will look west to us. And in California, they'll see we are still moving forward. Thank you, and happy to take any questions you might have.
Attorney General, have you spoken to any of your counterparts in other blue states, and is there draft litigation you can speak to that your office is already prepared?
Yes and yes. We've been talking for months with attorneys general throughout the nation, preparing, planning, strategizing for the possibility of this day. Of course, planning and preparing for it not to happen, but knowing that it could. And so we are ready. We are prepared. We have thought through all of the possibilities of the attacks on our values, our people, our state. And we expect certain litigation to come, or certain actions to come from the federal government, and certain litigation that we will take in response. So there's a lot of different scenarios on a lot of different topics, from immigration to environment, to civil rights, to gun safety, to our immigrants. The list goes on. But we are ready. We are prepared. The people of this state deserve a prepared California Department of Justice, a prepared team of attorneys general across the country. Again, as I said, we've been through this before. We're ready to do it again.
Attorney General Bonta, is there one topic that concerns you among all the ones that Trump has proposed during his campaign? What's the one thing that keeps you up at night?
There are many, unfortunately, articulated plans by Mr. Trump that harm our people, our state, our values. The full frontal attacks on reproductive freedom, the full frontal attacks on our immigrants, the full frontal attacks on our environment, on our civil rights, on the rule of law, on democracy. They are all fundamental to who we are as a democratic United States. And they all keep me up at night. And I'm worried about every one of them. There are people in the state who care deeply about each one of them. And I will always make the people's fights my fights and stand by them, whatever the attacks are that come. So there is not one in particular that stands above the rest. There are many that are potentially devastating, harmful, and exactly counter to our values in California.
Mr.
Sorry,
General,
quick.
your predecessor
mass deportations, the possibility of mass deportations. How is California, how's your office prepared?
So we're well aware of the articulated action regarding mass deportations. We've been in conversation with attorneys general across the nation. We've been in conversation with advocates, immigrants' rights groups. We have reviewed the protections that we have in place. Remember, we did this before between 16 and 20. There were attacks on sanctuary jurisdictions and cities. There were attacks on California when it passed the California Values Act. We have put in place many protections for our immigrants, and we are dusting off those important laws to make sure that we reinforce them, make them more robust, and that we are ready for these articulated plans. And so preparation is the best antidote, and we have long been preparing for this moment.
Sorry,
Attorney
quick.
General, the 120 lawsuits that your predecessor.
I don't think there's anything that the Trump administration won't try in pursuit of its ends and goals, so we have to be prepared for anything. That's why we exist, to make sure that the steps they do take and they choose are lawful, are within their granted jurisdiction and power as an executive branch. Mr. Trump repeatedly overstepped his authority between 2016 and 2020. There's no reason to think he won't do it again. We checked him and we stopped him and we pushed him back into his box when he tried to step out of it. And that's what the law is for. That's what AGs do. We enforce the law when people abuse their power and abuse the law and violate the law, and we will do it again. So whatever he tries to do, we will ensure, we will be watching and monitoring and make sure that it is lawful and it doesn't violate any state or federal statutes or constitutions.
Reporters, please just raise their hand and we will try and get to everyone's questions.
Do you want to?
Ashley, what
Okay. Mr. Attorney General, your predecessor, when he filed the 120 or so lawsuits against the Trump administration, those were in years when California was enjoying pretty healthy budgets. But right now, there are limited resources. The state has a lot of needs. So, I mean, how much money does your office specifically need as the legislature now looks to potentially appropriate more for this whole effort?
Thank you. I'll first say, whatever the financial situation, when we have full frontal assaults on who we are, what we stand for, our people, our resources, we will fight back. We will punch back. We will push back. Period, full stop, end of story. We will not say, we're in a different financial situation, so we're not going to fight. Those words will never cross my lips. We will fight, and we will push back, and we will find a way. We will rise to the occasion. We will meet the moment. We are in discussions now. The governor has called a special session now to discuss exactly what you're talking about. The resources that will be needed to prepare for the Trump administration, make sure that we're able to fully fund our forward progress, as I discussed today, and be prepared for any attacks that might come so that we can effectively push back and fight back.
I just have a quick follow-up question. I'm sorry. I know just sort of the timing of this comes, it's no secret that you are considering running for California governor. I mean, at what point do you plan to make that decision?
Timing of this comes right after the election of the President of the United States, in which Mr. Trump has been elected again. And by the way, California did not vote for him. Nearly 6 million votes for Kamala Harris, 2 million more than those for Trump. We rejected Trump here in California. That is consistent with who we are and our values. I am here today because Mr. Trump was elected. He poses a threat to our forward progress and our people, our values, our natural resources in our state. And I am reassuring the people of California that we are here to fight, to punch back, to push back against any attacks that might come and help ensure our forward progress.